Hi there. Thanks for wanting to have like a cozy evening session with me, like a fall evening session, you could say. Because the truth is that I haven't been feeling very well lately, mentally that is. And I do think that like as the weather gets a little colder, it's like cozy season and especially when people don't feel very well, it's good to spend it like in company or like at least have the opportunity to like talk with someone, even if it is through a screen, as I'm doing right now, even if it is like online, as I'm doing right now. So, I've prepared a few things for us today. I think we're gonna have some fun, but also I want it to be the space for me so that I'll be able to talk about some things that are weighing heavy on my heart and that I've had on my mind lately. So it will be a little bit more personal compared to other videos that I have on here that are just about my interests, my hobbies, that kind of stuff. So a little bit of a disclaimer here. I do incorporate ASMR, I do incorporate some like fun fall themed things here and there, but that will be the main topic for me, like a little bit of a mental health chat, or just I guess I'll open up a little bit. And I'm going to be discussing some things about my life, and because I've had a significantly difficult life, especially if we're talking about the past, there will be certain heavy topics. So if that's not what you're feeling like watching today or hearing today, then please feel free to watch one of my other videos. I have several other videos here on YouTube, and they are on like lighter topics, or they're just about my hobbies, like I said. So feel free. But let's begin. With that being said, I'm gonna start with a little bit of a candle to set the mood, because I think that you cannot have fall without candles, right? You cannot have coziness without them. So I have this one that I got recently from Fantasy Festival that I went to, and I think it's very fitting. It's the scent is sweet pumpkin, and it does smell very nice, and I mean super fitting, right? So give me a second to light that up. Also, don't mind my nails here. Got a few that broke. I'm just gonna set it here. Alright. So I'm gonna be 100% honest when it comes to fall. Let's start with something that is a little bit lighter, just for an intro. I'm gonna be honest, it is not my favorite season. It's not one of my favorites. I am a summer girl. I've loved summer ever since I was a young child. That was definitely my favorite season. I like spring. I think I'm built for like warmer climates. That's one thing that really suits me about living here in Greece, where the weather is a bit milder, the climate is a bit warmer because it's Southern European. So that's what I'm built for. Fall, winter, they're not my favorite seasons. I mean, I do like Halloween, okay? And my birthday is in the fall, so I do have some things that I look forward to in this season. And I do like Christmas, but apart from that, I'll say it's not my favorite. I do like the celebrations and everything, but that's as far as I would say it goes. And the thing is with fall here in Greece that takes a very long time typically for it to get cold, rainy, just for the weather to change, because we have very warm summers. And the heat tends to carry through until, I would say, early November, possibly. So the fact that in the past, like, week or 2 weeks, like, it's been a little bit now that there's been a very abrupt weather change. Like, it went from sunny and pleasant and nice to very, at least here in Athens, but I think in the rest of Greece as well, like, very cloudy, just gloomy and super rainy, like to the point where the few days that I go to college, I only go twice a week now because I'm near graduation, so I have only one course left. It was very difficult to even get to my classes one day from the rain. So, as someone who does not enjoy this kind of weather particularly, and I had in my mind this sense that, like, I would get to enjoy sunny weather until November, or at least for like another month. It kind of got me down, like this very abrupt change. I don't think I was ready for it. I wasn't doing particularly well mentally. And I think I am one of these people that, like, the weather has an effect on them. There are some people that, like, the weather really impacts their mood. Especially if you already are not, like, doing super well in one specific phase. Because, for example, whenever I was studying abroad in London, I know I mentioned this time of my life often, but it really was it marked a big change for me from, like, going through horrible times to a very happy time of my life, one of the happiest. So the weather there, of course, it was the UK, it was rainy, like the spill kind of rainy. It was cloudy, grey skies and everything. But it didn't bother me. Like, it never once bothered me. So, but maybe I was prepared for it in my mind, whereas here, I don't know, I didn't like it that much. So that's an intro. That's not like super significant to how I've been feeling, but like some thoughts on the weather and fall, like in general. Like, I don't want to get you right to, you could say, the more, well, I don't want to get you into the more serious stuff right away. So I'm just doing this sort of like small talk at first. I'm smiling, but like, I don't know, maybe I'm happy to be filming a video because my mood, like, today wasn't good at all. Like, and the past couple of days it's been horrible. So I don't know why I'm all smiles right now. Like, I swear to God, the personality that I'm showing here, I don't know if it is because I'm alone and I'm feeling comfortable in, like, my house or something, but it's usually like so much more friendly and bubbly and happy. I am not like this in real life. Like, if you were to meet me in real life, I'm not like this. I'm very quiet. I'm very reserved. I'm not particularly friendly, I want to say, because I've been through a lot, so I'm a bit guarded, which comes off sometimes as, like, distant and aloof. Like, I understand why I'm not, like, people's favorite person. I'm not super social either, so there's a big difference to how I seem here and, like, how I'm in real life. Because, you know, out there, like, people out there, they're out for blood. Like, you cannot afford to be like this often. And that's just my reality. It's what I've experienced. And I'm not saying that's always the case or that you shouldn't be kind. I do think that I care about people and that I am trying to be kind, but, like, you're a priority and you need to protect yourself. And if you don't, there are people out there who will take advantage of that. And as someone who's already gone through hell, I am not allowing that to happen. Okay, I mean, what I will say though is that I think this steered a little bit more negatively because of my mood right now. So I'm the kind of person where I have long phases of doing really well, and then I have certain phases of my mental health going through a down season. But the downs, they can be really bad, and I mean really bad. So they kind of seep into how I see everything. So yes, I am a little bit more quiet and reserved in real life, but doesn't mean I'm mean or not kind or not nice if you actually talk to me. If you actually come and talk to me, no, it doesn't mean that at all. I'm just a sensitive person, I'm a caring person, so I have a little bit of a wall because, like I said, I need to protect myself because I know that for the people I care about, I can be extremely kind and caring and giving. So you just need a little bit of a balance, and I swing to the little bit more introverted side of the scale. That's just how I've always been. Alright, so before I go on, I was wondering if you were cold, and I think that one nice thing to have when the weather gets a little bit colder is a nice cozy blanket. So I have one here. And I was wondering if you want it. I was wondering if you were cold because I saw you being a little bit, like this, and I was like, ooh, time for a blanket. So if you want it, it's very fuzzy and nice. It's one of my favorites. On the other side, it's got, let me show you. Snoopy. I love Snoopy. So cute. So, if you want it, I'm going to leave it right next to you here so you can, go like this and warm yourself up. Okay, let's take a break and do some other fall related things, activities here. So one thing that I also miss, it's one of the very few things that I miss during the summertime and that you get to enjoy in cozy season, is warm drinks. I love warm drinks so much that sometimes I'll even have them during the summer. And if you've been in Greece during the summer, or anywhere in Southern Europe for that matter, it's extremely warm. So I think from that you can tell how much I love them. So I'm willing to suffer to have one. Okay, so what I have here for us today is some warm tea. I can also make you a warm chocolate if you want. I think it's a bit late for a coffee, but in the morning I do like my warm coffee as well. I got them, one for you and one for me. In these cute little mugs, they've got this cute little monkey kind of design at the front, and they're matching, aren't they? So cute. I thought we could be matching like this. And I think this brand is called Paul Frank. I really liked it as a kid, and I even had a backpack whenever I was in primary school with this little monkey on it. Okay, me just bring the tea as well. I have it in this cute, like Halloween themed. Sorry about that. I have it in this cute, like little Halloween kind of bucket. So let me get the tea out. I'll just put this to the side so I can show you. This is a Greek herbal tea. I got it back in August whenever I was on vacation in Andros, my island. I love it so much. So much love for that island. And it's a herbal tea from a Greek company called Moli, I'm guessing. Moli. With an omega. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but that's the brand's name. And I tried their, like, this is their nightcap version, because I don't want to give you like a tea that's gonna like keep you awake, because it's quite late. So I just have this relaxing variety. I've already tried their tea for like boosting up your immune system. It was called Defense. I'm gonna read you like a little bit of a description about the brand. According to Homer's Odyssey, Hermes gave Odysseus. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these correctly in like English. The mythical herb Moli as an antidote to Circe's witchcraft. Interesting. The nightcap herbal tea is a blend of natural herbs that promotes relaxation and helps in having a deep and restful sleep. Our herbalist created this recipe by blending the following organic herbs in variable proportion: Mount Olympus ironwort, passion flower, Virginian skullcap, hops, lavender, ashwagandha, and licorice. Licorice? I don't know. And you're lucky because I only have one of this left. And one thing that I really like about this tea is like this is an actual flower stem, and sometimes even have like a little leaf here, so it kind of looked like a flower. There's like a whole like little flower here. So, fun fact, like let's distract ourselves a little bit here. I have a sort of friend, like acquaintance kind of friend. I met him in Thessaloniki in a program in January, and he was always like, you gotta open these up, you gotta tear them and put all the contents and drop this because this is full of plastic and you don't want to get microplastics. He's like very passionate about this, but the thing is, I don't like having like loose tea in my drink, you know? I don't like getting like little pieces here and there. It kind of grosses me out. I don't know about you. He was a bit sad when I told him this. He was a bit disappointed in me. I'm sorry. Ahmed, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I don't think he does. Because most of my friends don't like ASMR. Okay. Which is On one hand, it's good because I feel like I can express myself a little bit more without being watched necessarily by a ton of people that I know. So, there you go. There's your tea. And I'm just going to set it there right next to you so you can like warm up with the blanket and you can like sip your warm tea and relax as you wish, as you like. And I guess, oh, let's add just one more thing to it if you want. That I think just makes it so much nicer. And like, one thing that I personally have really connected to fall is like cinnamon. So I have here these, oops, let's hide the price tag. These like cinnamon cloves. Or not cinnamon cloves, like cinnamon sticks. Would you like one in your tea? Perfect. There we go. So there you have it. I'm just gonna set it to the side for you to enjoy. Alright, so now that we have that settled, why don't I get a little bit into what's been going on in my mind lately? So, I'm going to say it as simply and without detail and like concisely as I possibly can because it's quite a lot, and I don't want to seem like I'm oversharing or complaining or spreading negativity. These are things that I don't like doing as a person. Definitely don't like placing or describing myself as the victim in any situation. But I do believe that it is important for every person to be able to express how they feel and to tell their story in a sense. And if this story has some difficult, harsh realities and some traumatic events in it, then I believe that is something that should be allowed and honored. So, in about a month, in November, I am going to be turning 22 years old. And what I can tell you is that I have lived a good life and I've been happy for about the last 2 years, ever since I turned 20. This is the only truly free and happy phase of my life, the past 2 years. Before that, I've had some good times. I've had some times that were significantly better than others. I've had times where I was happy. But in general and overall, I've had a very difficult life with a significant amount of challenges that a lot of people in my age and socio-cultural setting that I grew up in and was raised in have not necessarily faced. I'm not saying that not everyone has gone through these problems, perhaps even combined as I have. But I do believe that compared to a vast majority, I was dealt some bad hands early on in my life. And to talk about them very briefly and without going into depth, I will say that I was raised in a household where there was significant amount of substance abuse, and as a result it was very abusive to me, especially in my young childhood years, which are very formative for a person. Very verbally abusive, very unpredictable, very traumatizing. My teenage years, they were slightly better. Not that the problem was solved, but I was a little bit more cognizant of the situation. I was a little bit more independent. I relied a lot on my friendships, and during that time I went out of the house. Like, I will say some of my teenage years were probably the best years of this time, the happiest. My middle school years, for example, beginning of high school, maybe you could say, about 3 to 4 years that were significantly better. I do have some questionable taste in friends. I have made some friendships that were quite unique and not always in the best way, but I will say I don't truly regret making them. My grandparents who practically raised me, and I considered them parents, passed away. My grandfather when I was a young child at the age of 8, and my grandmother at the age of 17, after a series of very traumatic events for me. And the worst of all is that about 2.5 years ago, my older half-brother passed away very abruptly. And so my entire life I've dealt with grief and loss and loneliness and just some very extreme situations. And what has made his passing particularly traumatic for me was also that the friends that I cared about, the people that I've invested so much into, like emotionally, completely sort of turned their backs on me. They did not show up at all in the way that I needed them to during that horrible worst time of my life. And I'm not the kind of person who asks for help often, so that really hurt, It made me learn some very harsh truths about the reality of this world, one after the other, as soon as I began my adult life. So I was 19 at the time. I was very young, still am. And the thing is, even if since I left for London, I made a new change, it marked a completely different season of my life. And even as I came back and moved out, I did so many things. My life improved to an unbelievable extent. And I'm the kind of person who, I am ambitious. I do like doing things. I believe I have achieved quite a lot of things in the past 2 years. I'm proud of myself in that regard. And I do believe I have times where I feel much better, and I feel like I've moved on, not from the grief, not from the loss, because I think that's the sort of thing that if you truly love the other person, it will stay with you. But from that kind of injustice and betrayal that I felt from others, I think I have moved on from that to a big extent. And I do feel like I have forgiven the people that I felt hurt by during that time to a big extent. But there is some damage that was done. Also, I will say, because am a Christian, my faith has helped me tremendously in that regard. Tremendously. I don't know where I would be without it. And I've had a complicated relationship with it in my life, so the fact that I was able to go back to it in a very difficult time on my own terms was incredibly comforting. But there is still some damage that is done, and you cannot completely erase your past. Like, things are better now in my family with the problems, and I'm extremely grateful for that. You cannot imagine how relieved and grateful I am for that, because I do believe family, with all its faults, is irreplaceable in a person's life, and it should be a steady foundation. But the truth of the matter is, I have lost some of my most beloved people in my family, in my immediate family, and that is, the whole grief process is a very lonely road. It is, especially with my brother, an incredibly isolating experience, and something that, it sticks with you. And I just feel like I'm having a time right now. Maybe it's because his birthday was just a couple of days ago, and even though it's been like 2.5 years, it's gonna be almost 3 years since he passed away. Sometimes it feels like it was yesterday. Like, part of me is stuck there at times, and it's been very difficult and isolating, like I said, and I felt like I've had to be so strong, and I've had to bounce back and keep going. But what you do externally and how you feel very often internally are two very different things. And it's something that I'm not able to discuss with my friends a lot, because even if they are very well intentioned, a lot of young people either don't really understand it unless they've been through a similar grief experience that is like, goes beyond the norms. Because let's face it, of course everyone will pass away one day, but the vast majority of people do not die unexpectedly in young age, under normal conditions, that is. And they either don't understand it, so that leads to well-intentioned, a little bit of invalidation there, a little bit of demanding, okay, but you gotta keep going, you gotta move on, it's been a while now, is something that I would hear if I were to mention it now. You need to do all these things, you need to be like this, do that, so on and so forth. And also, young people, like, I experienced this back when everything happened. They will turn their backs on you often, and they will walk away in these situations because, like, the idea of death terrifies them. They feel very far away from it, and they try to push it away as if it's something contagious, thus pushing away people who are grieving. And they need a social support system. Like, it's been proven, I am a psychology student, that people who are grieving and have strong support systems will recover better and faster, as opposed to those who don't. I'm proud of myself. I feel like I never thought that I could get this far with everything that's happened. And I don't blame myself for sometimes, I don't like being stuck in the past, but it was a very long time of my life, very extreme events, and it hasn't been that long since. So I think it's quite expected in some ways. it gets to you. I think it has gotten to me. And the thing is that I am sad about is that sometimes I do feel bitter and angry and disappointed. Like, before everything happened, I was such a loving and giving person, and I invested so much into my friendships. Like, because there was unsteadiness in the family structure, I turned to them and I loved them as family, my closest friends, that is. I really did. And, some of them, they didn't even bother to do very basic things, you could say. And, it's strange because in my day-to-day life now, I go through long phases where I don't even think about it. But sometimes when I do, it's like, and I have made new friends since then, both abroad and coming back here. I've been into a new relationship. Like, I've done things, but it does shake your trust in people to some extent. You are way more guarded. And I don't think it's a bad thing to be careful. But I do think it can be, like in my case, a bit extreme to the point where I'm not receptive to new friends easily, or things like that as I used to be. I'm not the same kind of person. There has been a change in me. Sometimes when I'm feeling really bad, what I like to do is to journal my thoughts out. So I have this little notebook. That I use as a journal. It was a gift from my friend Angelique, one of my best friends. I'm gonna show you like the first page. It's like this. Lots of strawberry shortcake. You guys know I love her so much. Here she is in her strawberry house with her friends, lemon meringue and orange blossom, and huckleberry and blueberry muffin. So I was feeling really horribly, and I just wanted to write things out. And I was like, I just feel my strength, my mental strength that is starting to run out. I'm having a relapse. That's like a grief relapse is what I call them. A phase when it gets bad again. And I'm feeling worse. It's been years, and I've been unable to fully let go of the past and forgive. This is something that I felt bad about because during like the past few days, something that I felt I'd let go of, which is like anger and like sense of, oh, this is so unfair, this happened. It rose up in me and I didn't like it. I was a little disappointed because I thought, oh, I thought we worked through this, right? And like I said, external conditions and achievements do not reflect how I feel internally. A lot of the time they do, because if I didn't feel motivated, if I didn't have that, like, these ideas in me, I wouldn't go for them. But yeah, sometimes life, like, it has ups and downs emotionally, and you go through the motions with what you have to do. That's how I see it. That's true for everyone. But I feel like sometimes if you dwell on the past, like I've struggled with this. I don't like being a past dweller, but I have been sometimes. It grabs you from your ankles and it drags you down. That's what it does. dwelling on the past. Like I said, the truth of the matter is I've only lived very well for about 2 years, and that's not without scars. I can't erase my previous life. I feel like I was such a kind, caring, giving friend before, and I still can be, but it's in a different way, because I saw the cruel reality of this life very abruptly, out of nowhere. Like, I had this idea in my mind that was completely torn down. And yeah, and sometimes that's gonna leave you angry and very bitter and willing to trust again. Something I've worked through, but I go through my phases of like it comes up again and I need to process it. And when you have a very, very, very busy life like I do, it's just difficult to be struggling with your mental health because you don't have a lot of time and space to deal with it. Because like I'm in a phase now, and because I'm someone who goes through the motions and does a lot, this is why I've been like struggling with a little bit of burnout earlier in the year. That's why I wasn't here on YouTube for a while. I was gone for a few months because like imagine that at that time I was rushing to like I wanted to be done with college as soon as possible, so I like took a ton of courses, like as many as I could in a semester. And I was working 2 jobs simultaneously at some point. I was a lab assistant and I was a tutor, so I helped other people with their courses. And I also like had to work out because I need to go to the gym and I need to do my diet and I need to socialize and spend time with friends and I need to study and I need to have some hobbies. So yeah, it was just all very overwhelming for a time, and now I still have one of my jobs. I'm still tutoring. I have 1 class. I'm writing up, I was writing up my honors thesis. Now I'm writing up my final thesis. I have to write 2 because I have a scholarship. And I'm doing an internship. I was going for 2 internships. Been like, it's been a nerve-wracking process. I'm in the process of doing something else that I don't want to mention right now. I don't like talking about the future and future plans, so I'm not going to mention it at all. But I will tell you it's something that takes a lot of time and is stressful. And, you know, just putting that out there, I also have that on top of everything else. So it's just been dealing with that as well. I've had a very good year so far, but now I'm like going through a phase where it's like, oof. And like, yeah, it's just been a transition time from one phase of my life to another. I can feel it has already begun. And that stirs up a lot of upheaval for me mentally, like internally, my mind. Like, you know, some troubles with friendships, like relationship changes, like friendship changes, all these things. Super overwhelming on top of everything. So it's not, I'm not complaining. It's not bad. Like, I'm happy and I'm satisfied with where I am in life right now. It's only the past that when I think about it, I'm in shock. Like I cannot believe the things that I've lived through. Like sometimes it feels a bit surreal. Like I don't know, looking back, how I found the strength to go through them, like only by the grace of God. Like, you know? Anyways, I think I'm gonna end my long ramble here. Let's see. Let me show you a couple of other like fun things and then we can call it a day. Let's like ease off this sort of trauma dumping that I just did on you, basically. Although I hate that term. Like, I hate that term with a passion. I understand that some people can overdo it, but if you have friends, at some point they will have to rely on you, and you're gonna have to rely on them. I think it's completely normal to open up and not discuss frivolous things all the time, right? Or it should be. I'm that kind of person. And I like these kinds of friendships more. I can appreciate people for what they can give, but that's what I prefer, and that's what I offer a lot of the time. Anyway, look at this cute, like, door, little thingy door, like, accessory handle that I have. Trick or treat. I'm hoping to maybe make a Halloween video as well. We'll see. I don't know if I'll have time, because, like, the last course I'm doing now is quite difficult. It takes a very long time to study. But hopefully I will. Let's trace it. Okay. Trick. Or treat. I like the sound of this in real life. I don't know how it sounds like on the video. Like, it's got nice glitter on it. Let's see what else. Okay, one thing that I like to do, like, because you're all cozy with your blanket and you've got your warm tea, I really like curling up with a nice book. So I have a recommendation for you here that's, like, fit for this kind of weather, and it's, like, cozy, and you can read until you, like, go to sleep, which is what I like doing sometimes. And it's this cute little book called Tales from the Cafe. It's Japanese literature, and it's the second in the series, the second from the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, which was very popular at the time. I think there's several of them now, like 4 maybe. And I've read the first 2, read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which I've given now to one of my friends as a gift, and I've got this one. My friend Kendall, whenever we were in London, she loved these books and recommended them a lot. So what I like doing is, like, reading one around her birthday in January, so they kind of remind me of her. So, like, next January I'm reading the 3rd one of this series. But it's such a cute cover too. If you, like, have a look, it's got this cute little cat. So if you want to flip through, or would you like me to read, like, the description? Okay, I'll read it. Every now and then, a customer like Gotaro would come to the cafe after hearing the rumor that you could travel back in time. And we were just talking about the past, and I like tropes that have, like, time traveling in the past, because in my nature, I am very nostalgic. I'm a past dweller, but because I know that it can be very destructive, and there's nothing better than being in the present, I've dropped this habit to an extent, a big extent. Are you familiar with the rules? Kazu asked briefly. There were customers who rolled up at the cafe with no idea of them. More or less, he replied hesitantly. More or less, Kyoko shouted. Kotaro shrugged apologetically. You sit in a chair, someone makes you a coffee, and you return to the past. That's all I've heard. I believe you can read the second one without having read the first one. It helps to have read the first one, but it's like a collection of short like stories, so you can technically read them. First one is called The Best Friend. Second is called Mother and Son. Third one is called The Lovers. And the fourth one is called The Married Couple. The one that I really liked was called The Best Friend, the first one. I loved that story because I'm a sucker for friendships. In the first book also there was one short story about siblings. I cried. Oh my god, yes. So, okay, what else? Okay, maybe something else that we can do later if you want that can be fun is we can play boarding games. I think boarding games are fun when like the weather is like cold and you're stuck at home and you're like, oh, what should we do? I think it's fun. And like when there's a bigger group or even two people, I mean, I play with Thanos sometimes and it's fun. Just the two of us. It's this cute little game called Double. It's probably one of my favorite boarding games. Super easy, just kind of, let me open it. It's gonna be a bit loud. So you got these cards, and basically what you do is like, you got, for example, let's see, you got them here in a pile, and I have my card here, and you need to find one object that they have in common, like your card and the card on top of the pile each time. And you need to find it fast, because if someone else finds it first, they get the card. And the person with the most cards at the end, of course, wins. So like, for example, here it's Ice Cube. Ice cubes, you can see it here and here. So I have to shout Ice Cube and like take it. And so on and so forth. I don't know, I like this game for some reason. I'm not a huge like boarding games fan. Like the only ones that I have here is like this one, I have Uno, and I have Jenga. This one's my favorite. And sometimes with my parents when I was a kid, we would play Monopoly. And even though I was very good at it, sometimes I won. I didn't like it that much because it took too long. It took a bit too long, like, respectfully. It has no business taking like 4 business days. Okay. Apart from that, my last suggestion for today is that, like, do you wanna maybe watch like something? We can watch a movie. I really love rewatching some Harry Potter films during the fall. Maybe a series. I don't know, what would you like? Some, you know, classics, like I said, the Harry Potter films, or like Little Women, that kind of thing. What'd you say? Oh, I didn't show you this cute little snowball I have with a black cat. It says trick or treat. There you go. Trick or treat. Okay, we should do that. Alright, that's all for today. I'm so glad you came by. thank you so much for giving me the space to open up a little bit and talk about some things that are very important to me. That means a lot that you're here and that you stayed and that you listened. It means the world to me. I do not take it for granted. Thank you, and I hope you stick around, and I'm hoping to see you again in another video. Let's go watch the movie and relax, and I wish you all a good night or restful sleep. Bye bye. See you.